What's the biggest challenge you're facing at your age? Story 1, 54. Too old to start over, too young to retire, too fat to strip for a living. My mom taught for 20-something years and couldn't keep doing it with how education is changing. She officially quit and within the year started a successful interior design business at 60 that has already made her way more money than she ever did while teaching. It's never too late to start anew. Just know exactly what you want to do and put yourself out there. Let desire drive you. Love this. It really made me laugh, which I needed. I'm 52 and I'm really struggling with what is happening in the world right now. It seems no corner isn't in chaos. I have never seen so much unnecessary hate, division, and suffering. It keeps me awake and makes me realize that no matter how many letters I write, how many protests I attend, or how much I donate, it is totally out of my hands and I'm actually invisible. Too old? Can't change that. Too young? Can't change that. Too fat? Ooh baby, let's freaking go. Something we can change. Not all things in life are out of our control, so it's a blessing when we do get to take control over something. Losing fat is doable. It feels nice and you'll feel more energetic. Some evidence suggests you might not just feel younger, but actually be biologically younger after losing excess weight as well. I'm a 30-year-old college student and I often feel like I'm so late to the game, yet I've met so many retired folks, mothers and fathers of all ages, coming back to school and transferring after 2 years. I met this really scary-looking dude once and he spent 8 years in prison, but I didn't know the prison part until I spent a year with him in Calculus 2 and 3. He seemed so wise, charming, and was damn good at math. He was 38 at the time. The funny part was how I found out. There were threats of shootings across multiple campuses in the area, and he said he didn't give a damn since he's had scarier days in prison, and that he needs to get a damn B on his Spanish exam. I actually think it's never too late to get back to school. Also, trade schools are definitely worth the time investment as well, in my opinion. You are never too old to start over. I believe in you, man. You just gotta get up and look outside of the traditional ways to earn money. You need to start a business with very, very low upfront costs, like selling things online. You've been alive for 50 years and you're telling me you haven't learned anything others might find valuable in a course or on YouTube collecting ad revenue? Think outside of the box. There are idiot 20-year-olds making crazy money figuring out what works online. You could even think about some of the funny, crazy stories you have to tell about your life and tie in a life lesson at the end. Film yourself talking and hire someone on Fiverr for like $50 to make it funnier with edits and fast cuts. I'm telling you, you still have options and time. Do you sing? Or play an instrument? People love watching older people do covers of newer songs. You could get some sponsors for related products and you'd be surprised how much you can make. You could write a book and sell it on Amazon for 99 cents as an ebook. You could even have enough to retire in 5 years if you really put 110% effort behind any of those. I'm 52. My business imploded over the last 2 years after 12 years, and it was time to find a new full-time gig. I spent 8 months looking for work in that industry and no one wanted to hire a 50-plus-year-old creative, so I got a couple of software certificates in a different sector and found a good job doing something new. You are never too old to learn. Story 2. 31. Making friends. I've never had problems once I fixed my BS in my late 20s and became someone worth being around. I'm almost 40 now. I know that sounds harsh, but I don't mean it for anyone else but myself. It allowed me to be capable of finding my late wife, and while our time was short together, it was incredible. The friends I managed to make over the years have been good for such a time. Here are some things I've done to get where I have more friends than time to give. Get over yourself. Nobody is thinking about me truly. We all think about ourselves. Stop looking at that as a bad thing. It's okay if people are selfish with their time. They don't owe it to you ever. Woe is me talk is for losers. Stop being so freaking negative. Always bitching about something, always complaining, always having that cynical joke. Grow up, dude. Fake it till you make it. Think of that person you know. The one that would just light up a room any day of the week. That coworker everyone likes, that person who's always happy for and encouraging others. Start mimicking crap that they do that always lifts others up and do it towards others. Eventually, someday down the road, you will realize that you're not mimicking it at all. You are that positive person. Therapy. You get your teeth cleaned, why aren't you getting your feelings cleaned? Selfishness. It's never okay to be selfish about anything but your time. You don't owe people your time. They don't owe you theirs. You earn it. You share it. No hard feelings. This is happening. Would love to have you there. If you can't make it, that's cool too. Show confidence and allow autonomy. I don't know, it's whatever. These are just conversations I've had with myself in the past. If you can have an open mind, you can grow into something amazing. I used to have no friends back in the day. I'm 35, a female, and while I hadn't ever thought of the principles I live by in regards to making friends, I'd say this is it. I was always an outgoing, goofy, weird kid, and now I'm an outgoing, goofy, weird adult. My rule of thumb has always been, I will always be weird. I will not hide my weirdness. I will always be as authentic as possible so that my friends know that who I am in public is who I am at home. It's never steered me wrong to be this way, and I'm thankful to have some very dear friends in my life that have stood by me and I by them. Getting over yourself and getting therapy are honestly two of the biggest things that help, I think. Nothing beats spending time with people for this. Just like school, a lot of our friends are people we are forced to sit next to for long enough and had to strike up a conversation. You can emulate this, but it takes effort in getting out of a comfort zone. You could try signing up for an art or cooking class, join a meetup group. I run a cheese club where we have a monthly picnic in a park and share cheese, or pick up a hobby where other people hang out on a regular basis, like board games or team sports. I think it's hard in your 30s if you don't click with your coworkers or if you work from home. I was just thinking about this today because I'm in a different state for work and I am on day 3, and I'm here alone with no coworkers or anyone I know for 800 miles. I was driving back to my hotel and thinking, damn, I'm gonna be bored. If I were to move here or anywhere else by myself, I would have no friends and I would be lonely. I have a couple of days left, so I'm going to enjoy my quiet and solitude, but if it were any longer, I think I'd be lonely and depressed. I'm 30 years old, and my biggest challenge is trying not to give up on everything I wanted in my 20s and create a relationship with my current partner that is worthy of marriage and children before I reach an age where that is no longer possible for me, and creating enough wealth and happiness as a foundation where that doesn't make me irresponsible for creating that family life. I'm always trying not to be more feminine, which is a hard balance in trying to be more productive and assertive in my life. Story 3. 72. Caretaker for my wife who has Alzheimer's. Sucks the life out of you. 73. The wife had Alzheimer's for 8 years and took care of her at home for 6 years. Now have her in a memory care home. I dream of the days when she could walk and speak normally. So sad to watch. Lonely here without her. As scary as a professional home sounds, I do highly recommend it. They're professionals used to the disease. They'll accept your wife for who she is now instead of worrying about her not being who she used to be. They're 24-hour care staff who will keep her safe, which family cannot do no matter how much they still love the individual. You can never be 24-hour care. I'd be surprised if you can even get 12 hours of daily care without burning yourself out. Alzheimer's and dementia are so hard on the family. Much condolences and empathy for you. If you can afford it, please do get her and yourself aid. I feel like I am way younger than you, middle age, but getting on, and I look after my wife, just physical issues, not Alzheimer's. I find it tiresome, so being older with a harder issue must be much more than what I'm dealing with, and I find it hard. But this is what we do for those we love. When she knows it's hard, I always tell her it's fine and remind her I said in sickness and in health, and I meant that. Love to you both. My neighbor is 75. His son, now 46, had a stroke at age 21, mostly paralyzed down his left side, but still managed to get around by himself, albeit slowly. 5 years ago, he had a second stroke and is now wheelchair-bound and needs 24/7 care. Neighbor's wife, 3 years ago, had a stroke and is also wheelchair-bound and requires 24/7 care. Neighbor only retired just before his wife had the stroke and is now looking after his wife and son full-time with the help of government-funded support workers. I take my hat off to him and you, good sir, for looking after your loved ones till the end, under extremely difficult circumstances. I used to have long chats with the neighbor about how torn he was about retirement. He loves his job and the people who worked for him, but he was excited about traveling a lot more in their caravan with his wife, while other family members stepped in to help the support workers with his son. My aunt, Mom's sister, is 86 years old. Recent happenings make me wonder if she has some sort of dementia that either hasn't been diagnosed or she just hasn't told us about. In recent weeks, she's introduced my brother, her nephew, to people as her brother-in-law twice. A few days ago, I was talking to her on the phone and my brother was with her. She asked me if I wanted to talk to my dad. I would love to talk to my dad, but he passed away over 4 years ago. I'm so worried about what lies ahead for her. Story 4. I am 66 and my biggest challenge is accepting that I am 66. I am 44 and just wrote this same challenge. Lydia Dietz, for me, it is that my age and what age I feel just keeps getting more desperate. I am successful, have a family, all the things one thinks a 44-year-old should do, but I just can't believe that I'm 44. It's like someone made a mistake. I feel 33-ish, and then I worry as I get older, do I still feel 33 and just keep aging in the mirror and not on the inside? It's terrifying to me. I am about to turn 55. I'm pretty happy about how I didn't go gently into that good night of turning 50. Got into the best shape of my life anchored by a trek through the Andes. It didn't stick. I'm back to being overweight and complaining about the jets over beers. I blame COVID because I lack responsibility. It's like 9/11 and Hurricane Sandy, too good an excuse to pass up. My only consolation to you is that you have the true wisdom that can only be had by someone who remembers when there was no disco. And then there was. And then there wasn't again. And then there was again. What a ride. I'm 33, but I can relate to that feeling. For me, it also depends on the situation I'm in. When I try or learn something completely new, I feel like a child, about 7 years old. When I play video games, I feel about 20. And when I do a little too much in the gym, I feel like 80 the next morning. Just some examples, but all in all, I feel happiness, comfort, and excitement to still be able to do all those things. Maybe that's important? I also had the thought about neuroplasticity and how the brain is always able to grow and reorganize. I don't know if it's related to that topic, just a thought that popped up. All in all, it's nice for me to see that other people with different lifespans on this planet share this feeling of, I don't feel my age. Have a good one for all. Story 5. 33. Just finished college and had a really hard time finding a decent job due to the lack of experience for my age. Lots of jobs discreetly practice age discrimination. I graduated college at 37 and was also worried, but I got a medical degree in the medical field. In my experience and observation, actually likes older folks, mainly because of life experience and maturity. Yep, I went to a job fair a couple of months ago, and the one company that was in my field that was there acted like they didn't even want to talk to me. Yet, we're basically all chatty to everyone else coming to the booth. I'm almost convinced it's because I look really young for my age and they didn't think I was even old enough to be there. Completely pissed me off. As a woman, we have to be more assertive to get the time of day. It shouldn't be like that, but it is. I was at a trade show some months ago mulling around and I noticed the same sort of activity was happening to me. So I walked up to booths I was interested in, indicated whatever prior knowledge I had on their topics, and then basically made their pitch to me. Now, this wasn't a job fair, it was a trade show, where all attendees had badges and such, but it paid off. I was able to come back to my boss, who had just sent me there for personal enrichment, with a whole bunch of new intel and having bridged a crucial gap with a stakeholder I didn't even anticipate talking with. Some of the best opportunities I have had resulted from me just starting conversations in line at the coffee shop or someone chatting me up because of the hat I was wearing. Anyway, if the opportunities don't come to you, bust out that door like the Kool-Aid Man. I'm in a similar boat. Did an apprenticeship and worked for a bunch of years after that. Then I decided to study. So I basically did it the wrong way around. Got a master's degree, and I don't have a job with 37. I can't really decide what frustrates me the most, being discriminated against for my age because companies want the mythical human powerhouse with 2 PhDs and 20 years of experience at the age of 18, getting rejected for being overqualified for basically anything outside of my field, getting told by the media that my country has a serious lack of skilled personnel / qualified employees or whatever you want to call us. In combination, companies don't want me because I'm too old and or too qualified for literally anything, and according to the media, I don't exist. And I know for a fact that this little group of us isn't even that small. Story 6. 32 and I struggle with finding purpose in life. Single, no kids, no career, no home of my own. I feel I'm doomed to work, rent, try to amuse myself, and die alone. I'm 31 and in the exact same boat. I imagine myself with those things too, but life never quite turns out how you imagine. Our generation is so different from those before us, it gets kinda lonely being single when everyone else is busy with their families or significant others, but hey, it's what we make it. Homeownership is sold to us the same way college degrees are. They are expensive and can tie us down for years and years. Try to reframe the way you think about renting and the freedom it offers, and work on building up a high-earning savings account. You may end up ahead of those trying to build equity, but always having to replace the roof, 10 to 20K, windows, 10 to 30K, re-drill a well, 6 to 10K, and HVAC, 5 to 10K. My husband was your age when we started hanging out. We worked together. He did not like my work friends. Unfortunately for me, they were all I had, as I had lived out of the country for a year, moved back home, and then split with my ex while living in a new place. These were not the most ethical people, but they took care of me at my lowest. All that to say, if someone seems interested in you, don't push them away, lest your gut is really telling you something awful. Even if your first impression isn't your ideal, even if you initially think they are out of your league, I don't know. My husband and I are best buds and made fast friends with one another once I broke through his "if I have plans" every time I asked him to chill or come out for social events. Lack of confidence does nothing but strip you of opportunities, and it's literally the only fake it till you make it thing in life. It is surprising how quickly that can turn around. I was in the no viable career boat at 27, then decided to pivot, started at a new company as a business analyst, and took off. Ditto on the dating and home front, finally found someone at 31. Never thought I could afford a home, but once I started dating my current partner, I realized I really wanted that, and with 2 incomes, it was a possibility. We bought our house 2 years ago and started planning for kids now. I will not lie, I had many blessings and luck/good fortune along the way, but the morale is still the same. Practice self-love. Not masturbation, but actually thinking you are great and are capable of those things. Keep putting yourself out there and be open to the universe sending things your way. Your life can turn around pretty quickly and it doesn't take much. Extreme anecdote, growing up my neighbor was on the track of being a permanent bachelor who lived with his parents. They were farmers and loggers and lived a reclusive life. Somehow he found someone at the age of 45, married, built a house, and had kids all within 2 years. She is a crackpot, but he seems to be happy. Story 7. Nearly 70. Healthcare and related issues. 27 and the same. I have epilepsy that hasn't been improving/has been getting worse over the last 1 to 2 years, and it has been slowly wearing me down. The last couple of months have been especially rough. I started a new med last month, but it made me drop 20 pounds and actively suicidal. So my neurologist and I made the decision to stop it, and we're trying something else. I'm in the US, and even with insurance, it has financially ruined me. It's affecting my job, personal life, and romantic life, and I'm just getting tired of dealing with it all. Story 8. 30. Trying to acknowledge and live in the moment. A younger me would be content, yet here I am thinking I should be doing more. 45 and in the same boat. I have everything. A good job, family, some friends, and my health. But I'm having a hard time being content and living in the moment. What more should I be doing/getting to feel content? I don't know how else to say this, but a large portion of commonly found discontent in life comes from social media. And I don't just mean seeing the perfectly tailored good life and fun life of influencers, I mean just watching videos throughout the day. We are so overly stimulated every day that regular life becomes extremely unsatisfying. My suggestion? Plug off for a while. Find hobbies inside the house like gardening, redoing the furniture, painting a flower pot, etc. It brings back the joy inside your space. And then hobbies outside your home, connect with people, not through the phone, and when you do come back to social media again, be more conscious of the content you consume and keep timers. We have to look out for ourselves. What we need is around us. We just have to get rid of the noise and look around. I read a book last year called Wherever You Go, There You Are, which helped me understand that mindfulness and meditation are not just for boring yogis enlightened to an extent that I can't also get those benefits. Whether it be taking a moment to tap into and notice your breathing, slowing down your walking pace by about a half mile per hour to allow to see more things around you. Tune into the smells and sights and all the happiness that others are willing to give into the world. Looking at a sunset, petting a dog, saying hi and smiling at a stranger. Just taking a moment at a time to be, and happiness will follow. Obviously, this is not a cure-all for everything that's tough about the world, but the happier you are when alone, especially if you can help bring that to others, the more people will want to interact with you. Story 9. 24. Struggling to find the right choice of career. Well, might I suggest trying out saw filing? It's a specialized trade at lumber mills. Not very well known outside the industry. It is very challenging and rewarding though. The pay scale is good, considering you can legitimately just fall into it at a lot of mills. Most of the old files are retiring and there just aren't people to replace them that know the trade. Source: I am the head filer at a lumber mill. My advice: try to work in a machine shop. They'll put you into something easy and you'll gain so much knowledge useful outside of machining, the ability to solve problems, think logically, and learn how to stay calm in chaos. And, obviously, the actual job skills translate to other areas of life depending on what you're doing there. Doesn't have to be long, but to me, it's a good resume booster and it truly has given me great confidence in myself and my future. I was at the same point as you at that age. It was very hard, but with pure luck I found what I'm good at when I was 25. By a total accident, and I know I was very lucky. Just sucks that this job doesn't pay very well. Creative. My advice: try different things. This is the only way for you to find out what you're good at and what you'd like to do in life. Maybe it's finance, programming, managing events, creating content or websites. Try. And you don't need to immediately apply for a job in finance or events. Learn it by yourself. Maybe ask people who work in what interests you, what they do in their job every day. And don't be discouraged if you find a job that is boring for you or too hard. Leave and find another. You're young, and this will be the best time for you to switch jobs and find your path. Same, $20 an hour full-time, need 26 to move out of mom's basement into a crappy studio, already moved out 3 times and back home again. I estimate it will take me roughly 3 to 4 years to reach $26 per hour, and by then I will estimate that I need $32 per hour to move out. The goalposts keep changing. You have to continuously improve in order to remain in the same place in life, not even just to grow. I'm very bitter and salty about it now too, and it's affecting my mental health heavily. The worst thing about bad mental health due to money is that money is the only way to fix bad mental health. So I have no choice but to just be super sad for the foreseeable future. That's my mindset right now, to be truly honest. Story 10. 50. I never actually feel well. Between the chronic fatigue syndrome and chronic pain, it's been a long time since I had a day where I really felt good or healthy. 31 here. Dysautonomia means I get short periods of high blood pressure, anxiety, and rapid heart rate, and every bit of pain feels worse than it really is. Acid reflux makes me think I'm having a heart attack. I say short periods, they can last for hours on end or just for like 15 minutes. No meds to control it. Tried taking the lowest dose of BP meds and my BP was too low to where I couldn't get out of bed. Everything just came on so suddenly. 29, I was delivering pizzas, making $250 per day in tips plus hourly. It started 6 months before I turned 30. I've been miserable ever since. I don't want to die, but at this point, I would be at peace if something took me. Story 11. I recently turned 60. It was by far my most difficult birthday. For the first time in my life, I am seriously considering my mortality and I'm having some difficulty accepting that I will be dead sooner rather than later. I find myself fantasizing a lot about going back in time to when I was, say, 10 years old and doing it all over again. What would I do differently? Certainly I would choose a different career path. Would I go to the same college? Would I pursue and eventually win over my wife again? So many forks in the road of life and paths not taken. It's almost overwhelming. I've had a fantastic life and few regrets. I try to keep myself in shape. I want to see my grandkids get married. I'm not religious and really don't think there's anything waiting on the other side. I turned 60 this year too. It was definitely my most difficult birthday. You sound exactly like me. Honestly, I don't have anything good to say about getting old. I don't believe in an afterlife either. It's one of my first thoughts every morning when I wake up. It's like, damn, I'm 60. I don't have a time I'd go back to, but plenty of things I think if I was younger, I'd have everything in place. I'm terrified of becoming elderly and dependent. I don't know how one bows out gracefully. I would say to read the book The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. We all think about our past life and if we had made a different decision, how our lives would have been better, but there's really no way of knowing that you could have made a decision to have a different career and ended up homeless. You could have made a decision to be with a different partner and they could have killed you, so things could always be a lot worse. You could have made millions upon millions of dollars, but then never really had anyone who loves you for yourself. We never know what our other choices would have brought. There would be some happiness in them, and there would be some sadness in them, just like the life we are in now. I turned 60 this year. Everything hurts. I'm recognizing my mortality more clearly than ever before. Just when I have a brand new grandchild I want to see in her adulthood. My daughter is having trouble finding a good job and is so anxious about it. My son needs another surgery, fairly minor, but this is the third over the last few years. I feel like I'm suddenly racing towards retirement, and I'm afraid of what the next 4 years are going to do to my investments, which I'll obviously be counting on to survive. Story 12. I'm 38 and I'm making more money than I thought I'd be at this point, but with my house, my car, taxes, 3 children, groceries, bills, and everything else, I'm making it month to month barely. I have no savings. We don't have enough to go out to eat. We don't have enough for anything extra. On paper, I'm doing well. I'm grateful to be a homeowner. I'm grateful for my kids and my family. We are not frivolous spenders at all. Money is just tight, and I feel like I'm one hardship away from financial ruin. We are in the same boat, making the most money we've ever made in our lives, but I can't tell. We live paycheck to paycheck. 2 vehicles and a house, 3 kids. One of us gets hurt or sick and the mortgage payment is getting missed. It's a rough world we live in, but at least we aren't in a third world. Yet. 37 and I'm right there with you. My wife and I had savings, but when we started building a house, COVID hit and construction costs went through the roof. 4 years, 2 builders, and double the cost later, we are now stuck in a house we can't afford and are draining our savings holding onto it, hoping something changes before we run out of money. Can't even really sell it, as we could maybe get what we owe for it, and everything around us has been on the market for a very long time. It's terrifying knowing we have a definitive time limit on running out of money if nothing changes. We were hoping with a Kamala win, interest rates would go down, and we'd be able to refinance and buy us a little extra time, but with a Trump win, God knows now. Story 13. 30, trying to figure out what to do now because my plans were to be dead by now, so I've done nothing to prepare myself. Don't worry, it'll get better if you just start now. When I was 30, I was in the same boat. Thought I'd be dead by 28 to 29, so all I had done was drop out of college and live in grandma's basement. Had a crappy part-time job, no savings, no prospects. Long story short, I got in a bad car accident that was entirely my fault a day after spending a week alone on an island in Lake Michigan. Thankfully, I was the only one injured and recovered quickly. That was a wake-up call. I moved states to stay with a friend, got a nice job as a contractor for decent companies, and now 11 years later, I'm well established in a great career. Catching up on the decade I missed and looking forward to the next decade. Still suffer from depression and drink too much, but holy crap, life is so much better. Story 14. 64 years. Spent a total of 35 years in jails and prisons. All of it is on me. No education, no savings, yet I'm making ends meet after getting out on a 21.5-year sentence for bank robbery. So here's the catch. I freaking cry all the time. Secretly, privately, haven't been on the streets for 3 years straight since 13. There really should be support programs for people in this situation, especially such long sentences like yours. The Shawshank Redemption has a lot of interesting thoughts in what you've shared. Might be worth a watch. Also, the book Slaughterhouse-Five. It's a fictional story based on the author's experiences in a POW camp during World War II. It's actually about the trauma. It might resonate with you. The first sentence from the current-day point of view character is about how he weeps in private. If you have trouble with books, you can probably get the audiobook from your local library. I found watching/reading these 2 fictional stories that I can relate to really helped me. But also back to libraries, they can be your friend if you're looking for some type of engaging experience after such a drastic change in your living situation. If you have time and energy, just browse and look at what books are there. Look at what kinds of programs they offer. Story 15. 28. Learning that just because you give your everything to other people, that doesn't mean they will do the same for you. That's a tough one for sure. I have had to learn how to enjoy my natural gifts of generosity, love, and empathy while not giving too much, especially when I get little in return from others. Give bit by bit, the same that others give you, and if they give more, then give more. Story 16. 23 and infertility. Late 40s and childless. I just wanted to let you know that you aren't alone. It is a difficult journey, but regardless of what you decide, or what life may decide for you, you are enough just as the person you are. Please don't let circumstances or people take your self-worth and the core person you are away from you. Story 17. I'm 50, about to complete my first bachelor's degree and don't know what to do with it. I constantly ask myself why I went back to school. I hate every minute of it, but I hate leaving anything unfinished, and I just want that damn diploma. I'm 43 and in the same boat. Almost a 25-year career with the DoD, but I want this stupid degree because I can't have done all that work not to get a stinking piece of paper. 14 more classes to go after I finish this 8-week term of 2 classes, and sometimes I love it, but most of the time I feel like I'm an adult with a full-time job. Why am I letting some young professor who has half my life experience get on me for turning in a late assignment after I was down for a week with 4 bulging discs, 2 herniated discs, sciatica, and arthritis in my back? Then I humbled myself and accepted the deducted points from my late assignment. Thanks for watching until the end. If you have a similar story to these that you want to share with us, please leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like and subscribe. For more videos like this one right now, please stop by our channel. Thanks again, and see you next time.